going on, everyone? So, it's only one game, so I don't want to overreact, over panic on just one game, right? But there are issues and flaws that we knew this offseason, that we knew and were very apparent in preseason, and even though we just played one game thus far in the regular season, those issues still very much apparent. And the talking point and the main issue is really athleticism. Obviously, again, Lakers need two-way guys. You need guys that have athleticism that can also knock down the three ball and defend 3-and-D depth, right? At some point, the Lakers are going to have to address that. At some point, the Lakers are going to need to go get a guy or two, ideally, right? I don't think you're going to be able to kind of completely revamp and restructure this entire roster, which you could argue is what you need, right? Trade everybody and just revamp this roster alongside Luka, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton, right? Because I just don't, I know people are kind of down on DeAndre Ayton after the first game. I don't think you're going to get somebody better, right? But if you can now go get 2 or 3 athletic, versatile wings and then get a couple guys for the bench and stuff like that, go a long way. But something that I've talked about the last few seasons, if you just get athleticism, right, that goes such a long way. Now, again, we need the Lakers to get, several guys and legit two-way guys. But realistically speaking, you're probably not going to be able, because the Lakers have 1 first, they have a couple pick swaps, but they have 1 first and a second as a tradable asset. They do have a bunch of expiring contracts, which have value, but you're not going to get you're not going to be able to trade Gabe Vincent for Matisse Thybulle swap, and then Rui for Andrew Wiggins swap, and then you're not going to be able to basically swap five guys, right? You're going to have to, more likely than not, it's like Andrew Wiggins. Okay, well, Rui and Gabe Vincent get you there. Okay, so there's a 2 for 1. Okay, well now, if you say you gave up your second, well now it's like, okay, do we give up our first? Okay, well then who is that for? Now if somebody becomes available, right? If you can get 2 kind of high-end guys, right? Could you work something out to where you get, like I said, at Andrew Wiggins and a Miles Bridges, right? Just an example, or like a Herb Jones or something like that, right? Now you got 2 guys who are higher end guys that, yes, now that could potentially create the impact. The other route is you find 1 or 2 kind of higher end guys, and then you just bring in athleticism. And so what I mean by that is there's a ton of just young guys that can just run and gun for you, that can just go out. I mean, you're seeing guys, getting waived regularly that are 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan and hyper athletic. Yes, they're probably going to be a little concerning offensively. Yes, a lot of them are incredibly young, right? Yes, a lot of them probably not perfect players. But 1, you're probably not looking for those guys to start, or you shouldn't be. And 2, you're looking for just that injection of athleticism. The hope is somebody like an Adu Thero can get right, and then you can see the impact from him. Now, I don't think Adu Thero is the cure-all, right? But the idea is he's long, athletic, hyper athletic. I mean, you're talking about a guy 6'7", 6'8", 7'1" wingspan, 41-inch vertical. Talk about exactly what this Lakers team needs. His shooting, definitely there's some concerns there. But he's a guy that can finish around the rim, finish through contact. Right? He's hyper athletic, but it's just his defense. You know what this team could really use? Another Jared Vanderbilt, right? Just another guy. Jared Vanderbilt, terrible offensively, but you need his defense, right? The problem is Jared Vanderbilt just didn't quite look like Jared Vanderbilt. And I don't know if it's because the first 4 games of preseason, he looked like 2023 Jared Vanderbilt. And it was that's the guy you need to start. That's the guy you must start. And I hope that the Lakers start Jared Vanderbilt against Minnesota. He usually does really well against Anthony Edwards. I think he'll take that challenge on. The 2 of them are friends. I think that he'll kind of rise to that occasion. I think you need to start him personally. I talked all offseason. I think you should start Jared Vanderbilt. But Jared Vanderbilt didn't quite look like Jared Vanderbilt in that Warriors game. Again, I don't know if it was because of the injury, right? Jared Vanderbilt, we saw him with ice on his knee in that second to last preseason game. And then he came into that next preseason game, the final preseason game, and he just looked like he was just kind of out there, right? It just looked like he was kind of floating. It was this isn't the Jared Vanderbilt we've seen the last 5 games, right? And so I don't know if it's an injury and he's just they're just kind of having him out there, but it's just like, hey, don't overexert yourself. Because the idea of Jared Vanderbilt is his athleticism, his defensive versatility, and his rebounding. He is a guy that can go chase down loose balls. He is a guy that gets second chance opportunities for the Lakers. He's a guy that does create offense through live ball turnovers and turnovers in general, right? Whatever offense, he hits the occasional three, bravo. He gets the lob dunk, bravo. But like, that's not entirely necessary. It's also up to JJ Redick, though, to balance it, right? Because if you just have Luka and 5 athletic guys that can't score the basketball, then you're counting on Luka to basically go and drop 50 a game, right? So again, you need to kind of have that balance. But the problem is, right, is outside of Jared Vanderbilt, right, and Adu Thero, you don't really have that athleticism right now, right? Like Rui doesn't solve that. Austin Reeves doesn't solve that. Luka, his is just kind of the nose for the basketball. He just is really good at tracking down the ball and going and getting it, right? But like Marcus Smart is athletic, but he's not like a hyper athlete, especially at this stage of his career. Gabe Vincent doesn't give you the size, length, and athleticism, right? Like you don't have that outside of really Jared Vanderbilt, right? DeAndre Ayton's a hyper athlete, but he's a center. He's a guy that's not out on the perimeter, even though Lakers were having him defend out on the perimeter. And he did have some good defensive sequences. I mean, dude, he had a sequence where he stayed in front of Steph the entire time, forced the ball out of his hands, and then recovered and helped, defend. And then they made the little bounce pass, and Luka ended up blocking the shot. So, DeAndre Ayton showed the ability to defend in space, defend out on the perimeter, things like that. But he's supposed to be your big man, right? You want him out and closer to the rim, right? So, to me, getting size and athleticism alone would solve a ton for the Lakers, right? Like, could be enough to now make the Lakers contenders. Because Luka, and especially when LeBron gets back, those two are going to generate so much offense. And here's the thing, right? I talked about with the balance. If you have, say, Luka, Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton, the balance would be somebody, and just using them as examples because they're the only guys on the team right now, balance would be a Jared Vanderbilt and a Adu Thero, right? Assuming Adu Thero is kind of what he is projected to be right out the gate defensively. Yes, you don't get that offense from Vando and Thero, but Luka doesn't care about the trap. The Warriors just packed the paint the whole game, and Luka still dropped 45 all at the rim, right? Luka doesn't care about the teams packing the paint. Go ahead. I'll just shoot over all of you. Or I'll just craft my way in, and if all of you collapse to one side, it's an easy lob threat. Like, pick your poison here. I'm either going to drop 45 or DeAndre Ayton's going to get 30, right? Like, take your pick. So it's those kind of things that you can get away because of Luka. Couldn't get away with that with Anthony Davis and LeBron, right? This LeBron, I think you can, because LeBron is a much better three-point shooter, and he's worked on his catch-and-shoot threes all offseason, right? But you look in previous years, past years, right? Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they want to operate in the painted area. LeBron wants to look down and take a three, or he wants to put his head down, bully his way to the basket, and finish around the rim. Anthony Davis, yes, he can knock down the mid-range. Yes, both guys can shoot over the top, but it's not something they want to do possession after possession after possession. Luka is a jump shooter. Like, that's what he does. He shoots over the top. Right? Anthony Davis, yes, he can shoot over the top, but he wants to, what does he want to do? He wants to get in that triple threat. He wants to take that step, beat you off the dribble, do the little in-lane floater, or just take you to the rim, put you through the rim, or, kind of stop and pop in that, 10-foot range. Right? Like, so what did teams do? They packed the paint. Right? And they trust that Jared Vanderbilt, guys like that, don't shoot. I talked about all offseason. You don't have that issue with Luka. You're not worried about teams. Go ahead, pack the paint with Luka. Luka doesn't care. The Warriors just did it, and Luka dropped 45 and only made, 2 threes or whatever, 1 3, right? Like, he doesn't care about packing the paint. Go ahead. So you can get away with Adu Thero and Jared Vanderbilt. Plus, you can have them crash off the wing. You can have them be the slashers and cutters because they're going to be just so distracted and focused on Luka. Now Jared Vanderbilt is cutting. Boom, easy lob threat, easy bounce pass. Got the back door. Same thing with Adu Thero, who is projected to be a better finisher around the rim. Like, that's the kind of balance, right? You have Luka, Austin Reeves as your offensive engines. You have DeAndre Ayton as your lob threat center who can also, pick and pop in the mid-range, stuff like that. And then you just have two hyper-athletic, versatile wings that can defend 1 through 5, that can rebound, chase down loose balls, be hyper-athletic, go chase down those long ball rebounds, all of that. That's the balance the Lakers need. Right? If you're going to have Luka and Austin Reeves in your starting unit, you need to go with Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt, in my opinion. Right? Talked about it all offseason. What did I keep saying? My preferred starting 5 was Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. Why? Because Luka, particularly to start games, likes to get going early. Let Luka be Luka. You have LeBron, if Luka's struggling, LeBron can go get 20 and a quarter if you need him to. And then you have DeAndre Ayton. Now you have Marcus Smart, who he can knock down the occasional 3, but defend multiple positions, and Jared Vanderbilt, who can lock in and defend multiple positions. Now you just have better balance. And then your bench has the same thing. Now you have Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura coming off the bench to play multiple positions. You got Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, who actually was really good, particularly on Jimmy Butler. He defended Jimmy Butler excellently, which is why I'm kind of surprised JJ Redick didn't stick with him more. But nonetheless, right, you have Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, Rui Hachimura, and Jackson Hayes. Just a much better balanced starting 5, bench 5. Right? You have better versatility. You have Austin Reeves who could be better. Problem is, I don't think that they're going to bench Austin Reeves. Okay, fine. So if you're not going to bench Austin Reeves, you need to go with probably Marcus Smart at the 3 and Vando at the 4. And yeah, you probably don't have the size you're looking for, but at least you have the athleticism and defense to kind of mask and make up. Now, Jared Vanderbilt can defend the best player. Marcus Smart can defend the second best player. Luka, being 6'7", 6'8", can defend either wing position. And then, you have Austin Reeves defend, say the 3 and Luka defend the 4. Most 4s aren't going to drop 50 on you, right? Like, in certain matchups, you could change things up, right? Like, accordingly. But Lakers need better balance. And if they could just get some athleticism, again, go make a trade that's like a 3-for-1 swap and then bring in 2 of these young kids that are, 22 years old that can go and just, they're 6'7", hyper athletic, probably 25% from 3-point range, but who cares? You just got the athleticism and defense. You just need them to defend at a high level. They're going to be desperate and hungry because they just, they don't have any opportunity. So it's like, hey, I want to make a roster and I get to be on the Lakers. So just let them go crazy. And I think that could help a lot. Dude Theroux is a guy that could probably solve a lot. Again, I don't know if that'll be enough to the Lakers are a contender, but it might help a ton. So just kind of things to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.